presented with problems that have multiple operations within them, we have to follow a given set of rules when approaching them. You may have heard the phrase "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Each of those is supposed to help you kind of remember the order of operations, okay? It does, but you need to know just a little bit more. Step 1. Do all operations within parentheses first. Okay? If you see parentheses and operations within the parentheses, those get done before you do anything else. Within the parentheses, you will also have to kind of follow, not kind of follow, you will have to follow the order of operations within the sets of parentheses. You'll have to follow steps 2, 3, and 4 once you get inside the parentheses. That's the P. The E in excuse is for exponents, okay? Exponents would be like 3 to the third power. 3 to the third power really means what? 3 times 3 times 3, because there's 3 threes. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27, okay? So we have to evaluate all exponents after that. Step 3 goes with the M and the D in my dear, and this one's really important. Multiply, I'm going to put slash, divide, in order. From left to right. Just because the my comes before dear doesn't mean that you always multiply before you divide. It matters where they are in the problem. And then the A and S in Aunt Sally follows the same pattern as step 3. You don't always add before you subtract, but you will add and subtract in order from left to right. Okay. So I sometimes will draw the conclusion or the comparison with a typewriter. One of the old school typewriters that maybe grandma or great-grandma used to use or grandpa used to use before computers were around, and word processing and all that. But they would sit there and they would type, and they would get done, and they'd have to go all the way back to the beginning. They'd start a new row, and they'd hit some lever or pull some whatever, and then go back to the beginning. So what I would do is, each time I'm presented with an order of operations problem, I would start at the far left, work my way to the right, and ask myself, are there any parentheses? Scan the problem. If no, move to step 2. Any exponents? Scan the problem. No, then go to step 3. Then look for any multiplication or division. And then as it comes in the problem, that's the order in which you do it. Saving the addition and subtraction for last, okay? So when we see, the tough thing about order of operations is that most of the time you can get an answer, even if you do it in the wrong order. But it's not going to be the right answer. So for example, when we see something like this, 6 minus 2 plus 4 times 2, okay? I'm going to first of all identify the operations I have within the problem: subtraction, addition, multiplication. Are there any parentheses? Back to the beginning. Any exponents? Any multiplication or division? Doesn't matter. If there's multiplication, I have to do that before I do anything else. So I'm going to rewrite 6 minus 2 plus what is 4 times 2. Now, no more multiplication or division left. I go to step 4. I'm going to add or subtract in order. So as I go left to right, this comes first. So 6 minus 2 plus 8 is 12. Yep. Give it a shot. Okay. Identify our operations. Multiplication, addition, division. Any parentheses? Any exponents? No. Any multiplication or division? So I have to get through all the multiplication and division before I do step 4, which is adding. So this is going to be done last. So I'm going to do this. What is 4 times 3? Then I'm going to divide, because I need to take care of all multiplication or division before I add. What is 20 divided by 5? So now I can add 12 and 4, and there we are. Before you move to the next step, you must clear all the operations in the previous step. Okay? Let's try another one. 33 minus, parentheses, 14 plus 6. Any parentheses in this problem? Are there more than one operation within the parentheses, or is it just one problem? It's just one. One problem, right? One operation. So 33 minus 20 equals 13. Seven times 4 plus 6 times 3. Give it a shot. There are parentheses. What's inside the parentheses? 4 plus 6 is 10. I'm just going to substitute. I'm just going to bring that down. Okay? 7 times 10.
70.
Times 3. 7 times 3 is 21, plus a 0 is 210. You have your sheet. The natives are getting restless. All right. Here we go. Let's take a look. Do not let the fact that you see some decimals throw you off and confuse the process. Yes, those aren't multiplication signs. Those are decimals. So let's take a step back and let's scan our order of operations. Step 1. Are there any parentheses? No. Are there any exponents? Any multiplication or division? Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is this. Addition is going to be last because my only other operation is multiplication. Okay, now think about this. 45 divided by 4.5. So as I set this up, which one goes on the outside, which one goes on the inside?
4.5 goes on the outside.
Very good. Now, since we've done a whole lesson on dividing with decimals, what has to get done before I can complete the work here?
You gotta make the 4.5
And then, since it's one place on the outside, one on the inside. Add the 0. How many times is 45 going to 45? Once. Since I have to take it all the way to the decimal, I need to put a 0 there. So what I have, first of all, is a 10. 10 plus, well, I need to now do 6.2 times 3. Do I line up the decimals when I multiply? No, because I take care of them at the end. 6 times 3, 18, 1 decimal place, 10 plus 18.6. Now, we're adding decimals, which means I have to line them up. So 10, where's the decimal? There. 18.6, the decimal is there. 6, 8, 28.6. Thirteen plus 5.1 times 12 minus 4.2. 3 operations. Addition, multiplication, subtraction. Which one is going to get done first? Eli. Okay, so I'm going to have to multiply 5.1 times 12. That needs to get done first. I don't line up the decimals because I'll take care of them at the end. 2, 10, drop the 0. 61.2. So now that's what is here. Now 13 plus 61.2 minus 4.2. In order, last step, step number 4. Add and subtract in order from left to right. Add the 13 with my decimal there plus the 61.2. And what do we get? 74.2 minus 4.2. Seven. Okay, good news. There are no decimals on your assignment for today. However, if you got the last one right, that's great because it shows that you really have a handle not only on the order of operations, but you also have a handle on everything we've done this chapter. Because we added, subtracted, multiplied, divided decimals the whole chapter since the beginning of the year. So if you've handled that and you had a good idea, then you're already on your way to excelling in this chapter. 1-10, take out the worksheet. Interesting directions in numbers 1 through 6. They don't ask you to solve. They just want to know if you were going to try to solve the problem, what operation would you do first in each of those? So number 1 says 4 plus 6 times 9. If it were you solving this, what operation would you perform first, Larissa? What operation is that? With the X for multiplication. Number 2, parentheses 7 minus 5 times 3. If this were you, what operation would you do first? Alexis, what operation would you do first? Thank you. Why subtraction first? Because it's in the parentheses. Parentheses are not an operation. Okay, so be careful there. Number 3, 14 divided by 2 times 3. What operation would be done first there? Eli. Division. Yes. Number 3 is division. No, you thought wrong. In order from left to right. 7 through 18, find the value of each expression. Now you solve, now you solve, now you solve. Okay? I don't want a plus sign. I don't want a multiplication symbol for these. I want actual answers. Okay? So 7 through 18.
For number 1 through 6, do we do what we just did, or?
I've got 1, 2, and 3 right up there on the board.
Oh, sorry.
Those are free answers. Get them while they're hot. That's all you need to do from 1 through 6. 7 through 18, I need actual answers. I think a lot of this you could probably do in your head. If you're dishonest about doing it and you take it home and you sit down in front of a calculator, it's going to catch up to you. Because if you're that kind of math student, you've been that kind of math student before you walked into my room, and maybe that's why you struggle with the fundamentals. It does catch up to you. If your basketball coach tells you that over the summer you need to work on dribbling with your offhand, and you spend all summer not doing that, it will catch up to you. It will be obvious that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So leaning on a calculator doesn't teach you anything. Okay? My less than 2-year-old can hit buttons on a calculator. Does he know how to multiply? No. So punching buttons on a calculator does not teach you anything. And that's why some of you are having a hard time with the basics. Sooner or later, you're going to have to sit down and learn the basics. If you don't know your multiplication tables, 1 through 9, like this, you need to get to that point. Because you will struggle. You will struggle all year.